I honestly think joining a team would have been very valuable. And I know some people, like for me, like I came in it and was like, I want to work for my own name. And I get that. I get having your name in lights and all of this stuff. But the value in the education and support you get from being on a team is huge.
Is that advice you would give to a new agent?
100%. Hi everyone, I'm Tina Romanik and I am a St. Pete native, St. Pete real estate agent in the Tampa Bay area. And I am here with my co-host, business partner, and handsome husband, Joey Romanik.
Thank you, babe. Appreciate that.
I am so excited we are finally doing this. We've been talking about doing this podcast for a while now.
Probably 2 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I know it. You know, we have a lot of social media content that we put out there. And, you know, we often have people come up to us and they say, hey, listen, we love your videos. You guys should do a podcast. And so now we're doing a podcast, and this is our very first one. And Tina's nervous.
Yeah, I'm a little anxious, but it's going to be good. You know, we're going to talk about real estate, of course. But not just that. You know, we're going to talk about the things that we love. So hiking in Colorado, fitness, living a healthy lifestyle, which you guys can probably see some of my cupping marks.
Just stuff about real estate, but also stuff about us, right?
Yeah.
The Tina and Joey show.
Yeah.
Right. But we don't have a name for the show yet.
Keeping up with the Romanik.
So we cannot do that. Kris Jenner would be your first phone call, or suing you for that. But so today for this first episode, you know, we just want this to really just be an introduction to us and who we are and what we do. And, you know, as real estate agents here in St. Petersburg, you know, the question that we get asked a lot is, why did you get into real estate?
Yeah.
So, babe, why did you get into real estate?
Why did I?
Yes.
So, I always see myself when I was a little girl as a businesswoman. On the go, you know, calling the shots for herself. So that was something that appealed to me, being a real estate agent. Of course, I like houses. I like helping people. I think helping people, everyone should know that.
Absolutely.
Desire.
Good.
And just the potential to really have this freedom in your work. I think that's something that really drew me to it.
No, yeah. And, you know, we both got our licenses in 2014.
2015.
I know, I was saying. And we didn't know each other then. So we met in the industry. So we both got licensed, 9 years ago?
I know, that's crazy.
I know. I was working in the restaurant industry. I'd been doing that my whole life. I was a musician. I was, you know, trying to be a rock star when I was a kid, all this stuff. And my brother and I flipped a house. And I was like, wow, this is kind of cool, right? And that spurred me to think about getting a real estate license. I actually had my real estate license in 2004, and I never did anything with it. I took the class, signed on at a Coldwell Banker brokerage somewhere, and then nothing. Yeah, I know. But so, you know, my brother John and I flipped a house, and it got me interested in the business. And I remember I was working for the Chichio restaurant group. So I was working at Chichio's on 4th Street here in St. Pete. And I remember going to my manager there, and I was on the management team, and I went to the GM and I said, I think I just want to step down to being a server and go get my real estate license. I don't want to do this anymore. And she said, I don't blame you. And I went and I got my license, and then now we've been in the business 9 years.
By the way, if anybody wants to know what I did before real estate, I was a deli girl. Yeah. So my parents own a deli and convenience store. It's been compared to like a New York mom and pop shop. And
bodega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would make sandwiches before I sold real estate.
I can't believe that. Anyways, your talents were hidden. But so now that we, you know, when we got into real estate, jumped both in, you know, feet first, both of us jumped into the business. I joined a team. You did not.
Yeah. So you started off on a team, but when I joined, I was like, I just want to work for my own name. That was something that my father embedded into me. He's like, if you're going to work your butt off, it better be for your own name.
But what was your first transaction?
Oh gosh. So when I joined the office, it was the end, I'm just going to say October because it was practically.
Yeah, it was after me.
My first deal didn't come till June of the following year, 2016. Yeah, it took a while. Because here's the thing, I was 22 years old when I got into the business, and they say, okay, market towards your sphere. Everyone else is 21, 22, 23, like they weren't buying houses. So I really had to go out and find business, and I ended up door knocking.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Worst.
And I honestly, because I ended up doing a coaching program, and you had to make like 20 contacts a day. And I'm like, where? I'm like,
is that bold?
Yeah.
Keller Williams. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know where these contacts are going to come from. Right. And so I'm like, you know what? Let me just pick a neighborhood and door knock and, you know, track my conversations that way. And it worked. Like, one, it helped me personally because I'm more of an introvert, but I can have a switch to where when I know I need to perform and know I need to speak.
Oh, no, I know. I've seen you in front of people talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when I go home, I'm just like.
Yeah, I know. But so that first transaction, was it a seller or was it a buyer? I don't remember.
It was a seller.
Okay.
Yeah. I was so focused on sellers.
See, that's crazy. I didn't list a house for probably a year. It was all buyers. That's all I worked with.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, well, that's the nature of being on a team, though.
Yeah. But so when you had that seller, how did that listing appointment go? So tell me about getting the listing signed.
Well, this kind of ties into like how we met and everything. So I remember I finally, from door knocking, got this appointment, and turns out the appointment was like Friday, like 4 or 5 o'clock, just a really random time. And if you know, agents usually clock out at like 2 o'clock on a Friday.
Oh yeah, there's nobody in the office.
Well, I'm a new agent. It's my first listing appointment, and I'm like, I want somebody to come and run through the listing agreement with me because I'm like, this is new.
Yeah.
And so I go walking around the office. There's no one to be found. No one.
Except for
you.
And I don't know anything about listing agreements.
And at this time, I did have a slight crush on Joey, and he didn't know. So this was like before we started dating. And I'm just like, oh gosh. I was like, do I really have to ask this guy for help?
I remember you came up to me and you were like, hey, I have a listing appointment, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with this listing agreement. Can you help me? And I said, I looked it over, and I remember I had closed a bunch of transactions, but they were all buyers. I'd never even looked at a listing agreement after we got out of real estate school.
Yeah.
And I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. That's what I said about the document.
You said it's pretty straightforward.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like,
No, it's
I was just sitting there.
I felt like an idiot.
And
The
I'm
thing
like,
was, yeah.
Did this guy really just throw me under the bus? So needless to say, that was probably the worst appointment I ever had in my life. It was hours long.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
You got it signed.
I got it signed. And I got the house sold.
That's
And
awesome.
I'm not asking.
Oh,
So
perfect. There you go. You see?
So it was a win.
Yeah. No, I only worked with buyers when I was on the team I was on. That's just the way that it was set up. And I remember the first transaction that I had was sort of similar to that, where it was an internet lead that came in, found our team, and said, hey, we're coming to Florida from, I think, New York somewhere, and we want to buy a vacation home. Mm-hmm. And this guy and his wife show up, older couple, probably in their 60s, and wanted to go look at homes in like Tampa Palms, right? And I know a little bit about Tampa Palms, but it's not really my... Anyways, so we're there, and I brought a paper listing agreement with me, and we looked at all these houses. Or not listing agreement, a paper contract with me, right? Mm-hmm. And we looked at all these houses, and we're in one, and he goes, we want to make an offer. So I pull out the paper copy and start thinking like, I don't even know how to really fill this out, right? And he could see that I was kind of flubbing my way through it. And he goes, just send it to me by DocuSign. I go, okay, great. I get in the car. I call the team. The assistant gets on the phone. I'm like, this guy wants to write an offer. I don't know what to do. Anyways, and it's funny because they still own that house. I just sent them a market update 2 weeks ago on that property. They still own it, and they've gained almost 100% equity. That's crazy.
That's amazing.
But then a couple days later, I ended up taking another internet lead that was also another buyer, and ended up getting out there to show them a property. And I closed both of those on the same day. And that was my first taste of like what this business could really be like, is getting in there, closing 2 transactions on the same day, and being like, hey, this is pretty cool, right? I can do this, you know? So, but outside of your first transaction,
Yeah.
So anything that you would have done differently in real estate when you first got into it?
Ooh, what would I have done differently? I honestly think joining a team would have been very valuable. Yeah. And I know some people, like for me, like I came in it and was like, I want to work for my own name. And I get that. I get having your name in lights and all of this stuff. But the value in the education and support you get from being on a team is huge.
Is that advice you would give to a new agent?
100%.
I agree with that. I thought that being on a team helped kickstart my business.
Yeah.
It helped get me to a level where I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because when you come out of real estate school, basically all you've learned is how not to get sued. Okay. You don't know the nuts and bolts of showing a house, listing a house, any of that stuff. So I think it's, if you're a new agent that's out there watching us and listening to us, I mean, that's probably the best thing you can do is join a team, find a mentor. If you're not going to join a team, at least find a mentor and get out there. So, yeah. But, so I don't want to take up too much time. Do you?
I do not.
Okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to our very first podcast. Did you have fun?
Yeah, it was very exciting. I'm really excited because we have a lot to talk about, with the NAR settlement, milestone inspections. There's just so much going on in real estate. And also just to hang with us and get to know us. We're going to talk fitness, health.
St. Pete real estate, all of that good fun stuff.
Colorado.
All of that. So follow along on YouTube and then follow us on Instagram. Your Instagram handle is?
Yes, my Instagram handle is @TinaRomanik_.
And mine is just @Joey Romanik. We hope to see you guys again soon.
Catch you in the next episode.